Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. 3 women fight over Carter Walton on The Bold and the Beautiful. Carter Walton has always been the bold and the beautiful's most eligible bachelor. B&B fans have campaigned for Carter to find love on the CBS soap for years. Spoilers say that the women of Los Angeles are finally starting to realize that the Forrester Creations number cruncher is a total catch. Soon there could be an all-out war over Carter Walton. Keep reading to find out what's coming up next on Bold and Beautiful. What started as innocent flirting at the Forrester Creations office has transformed into a full-blown secret romance in a short period of time. Little does Hope know, Hunky Carter may not be as available as she thought he was. Hope Logan has had a tough time in the romance department lately, but thanks to Carter Walton, that seems to be turning around. Sadly, Hope will learn the hard way that she's not the only one who has her eye on him. In fact, she's not even the only Logan woman that has her eye on him. The Bold and the Beautiful recently revealed that Katie Logan, Heather Tom, and Carter's relationship had fizzled out. They seemed to end amicably and decided they were better off friends. Recently, Katie had a heart-to-heart with her son, Will Spencer Jr., Crew Morrow, and he told her she should be with someone that treated her right. Rumor has it, Katie decides Carter was a much better boyfriend than she gave him credit for, and she wants him back. Will she battle her niece for him? Quinn Fuller's Rena Sofer name has been mentioned quite a bit on Bold and Beautiful recently, and she's probably Carter's most notorious relationship on B&B. It's been a few years since she cheated on Eric with Carter, but when she hears he's conmittently with Hope Logan, that might inspire her to come home and claim her man. Carter Walton had always been the strong, silent type. His chiseled jawline, confident demeanor, and that signature, ever-present smile had made him irresistible to many women over the years. As head of Forrester Creations' legal team and a close confidant to the Forrester family, he exuded power, control, and trustworthiness. But in recent times, his heart had become a battlefield for the affections of 3 very different women. The quiet storm brewing in Los Angeles was about to explode. ### Quinn Fuller Forrester, the Forbidden Flame. Quinn Fuller had always been a force of nature. As unpredictable as she was beautiful, her allure was undeniable. She had a magnetic connection with Carter that neither of them could ignore, despite the complications. They had shared stolen kisses, secret rendezvous, and nights of passion that were both thrilling and dangerous. For Quinn, Carter had been an escape from the cold and distant marriage to Eric Forrester. He had made her feel alive again, and she had fallen hard. However, the guilt from betraying Eric weighed heavily on Quinn. She knew that continuing her affair with Carter could destroy her fragile reconciliation with Eric. But the more she tried to stay away, the more she longed for him. The tension between Quinn and Carter had reached its peak, and despite the risk, Quinn wasn't ready to let go. She saw Carter as hers, and hers alone. Still, Quinn wasn't the only one who had set her sights on him. ### Paris Buckingham, the sweetheart. Then there was Paris Buckingham. Sweet, kind, and full of optimism, Paris had always admired Carter from afar. She had been captivated by his charm and impressed by his moral compass, despite his occasional lapses in judgment. Her crush on him had blossomed unexpectedly into something deeper during her time at Forrester Creations. Paris had never been one to play games, but she couldn't ignore the growing attraction she felt for Carter. Unlike Quinn, she didn't have a complicated past with him. She believed in honesty and pure intentions, and she truly thought that she and Carter could have something real. He deserved someone who wasn't weighed down by secrets or tied to someone else's husband. But as much as Paris had hoped to build something genuine with him, there was another woman standing in her way. ### Katie Logan, the unlikely contender. Katie Logan had never imagined herself being in a love triangle, or square, for that matter, with Carter Walton. After years of failed relationships and heartbreak, especially after her turbulent on-again, off-again saga with Bill Spencer, Katie had sworn off complicated men. She had decided to focus on her son, her career, and her own happiness. That was, until Carter came into her life in an unexpected way. They'd begun talking as friends, bonding over their shared experiences of heartache and betrayal. But those late-night conversations, initially innocent, had turned into something deeper. Fervent. He listened to her, respected her, and for the first time in a long time. She hadn't planned on fighting for his heart, but now that Quinn and Paris had thrown their hats into the ring, Katie wasn't going to step aside quietly. ###, the tension rises. The tension at Forrester Creations was palpable. Every time Quinn, Paris, and Katie found themselves in the same room, there was an electric undercurrent, a silent competition, with Carter as the ultimate prize. One afternoon, the three women found themselves at Forrester Creations all by chance, or so it seemed. They were in the design office, surrounded by fabrics and sketches, but the atmosphere felt more like a battleground than a workspace. Quinn was the first to speak, her voice laced with possessiveness. "You know, Carter and I have history. I'm sure you two are aware of that," she said, her eyes flashing toward Paris and Katie. "What we have, it's real. It's deep." Paris, standing by the large window, didn't flinch. Her sweetness had a backbone that often surprised people. "History is one thing, Quinn, but a future? That's something entirely different. I think Carter deserves someone who can offer him a fresh start, not more of the same secrets and lies." Katie, ever the pragmatic one, stepped forward, folding her arms across her chest. "You two might be drawn to the drama, but Carter's been through enough of that. What he needs is stability, someone who actually has his back, not just their own interests." Quinn's eyes narrowed, and for a moment, it looked like sparks might fly. "You're one to talk about stability, Katie. Your track record with Bill is hardly spotless." Katie's jaw clenched, but she held her ground. "I'm not pretending to be perfect, but I'm done with lies. If Carter wants something real, he knows where to find it." ###, Carter's dilemma. Meanwhile, Carter stood outside the office, listening to the heated exchange through the slightly cracked door. He hadn't intended to eavesdrop, but the conversation had drawn him in like a moth to a flame. Each woman had a valid point, and that was the problem. They all meant something to him in different ways. With Quinn, there was passion and fire. She understood him on a primal level, and despite their complicated past, there was no denying the chemistry between them. But with that chemistry came danger, and Carter knew that being with Quinn meant walking a tightrope. Paris, on the other hand, represented hope and innocence. She was a breath of fresh air, someone unburdened by scandal or betrayal. With her, he could start anew, free from the baggage of the past. But was that enough to build a lasting relationship? And then there was Katie. She had become his confidant, his friend. She knew his heart in a way that neither Quinn nor Paris did. With Katie, there was trust, something he craved after the roller coaster of emotions he'd been through. But could their connection blossom into something more than friendship? ###, the final decision. Carter knew he couldn't avoid the inevitable confrontation any longer. He pushed open the door, stepping into the room where three sets of eyes immediately locked onto him. "Ladies," he began, his voice steady, though his heart raced. "I appreciate everything each of you has said, but this isn't a game, and I'm not a prize to be won. I need time to figure out what I want, who I want, and I hope you'll respect that." Quinn, Paris, and Katie exchanged glances, the tension still lingering in the air. But as they slowly nodded, it was clear that the battle for Carter Walton's heart was far from over. This war had just begun.